Obviously excited to play in front of the 12th man. Kentucky obviously had a really good weekend this past weekend, and excited to, face off, I guess. This conference is long and hard, and it's the good stuff. So I was happy with how we came out on Tuesday, took care of business, and now it's, getting ready for the Wildcats. So
I was going to say, what you guys did this past weekend or didn't do, and what Kentucky did, is that kind of re-emphasized you got to take care of your home in this deal when you look at the league, what's going on so far and what might go on?
Yeah, I think it's really important. And I think for me, I keep wanting to say Friday night, but Thursday, game one of the series this past weekend, I thought a lot of good things. We couldn't figure out how to get that extra hit when we needed it, and we had a lot of opportunities. And so sometimes that's how it goes. And when that happens, our pitching has to be, very, very good. And I just don't think we kind of executed any of those pieces consistently. We had moments of good at bats, but we couldn't string together. It felt like back-to-back hits. I think on, was it Saturday's game 3, or maybe no, it was Friday's game. Was like the first inning was the only time that we had back-to-back batters get on base. So you're gonna have those hiccups during conference, and it's gonna be up to us to see how we respond.
Their stud pitcher last year, you were able to chase her in the first game. Next time you face her, you can't. So maybe what are you going to take from that when you look back? Because you did have some hitters face her, and moving forward, how do you make that work as opposed to when she hurt you guys? Yeah,
I think we have a very solid game plan against her. I think she throws firm. She has a quick windup. There's some things that we have to do from a timing standpoint. And so we've talked to them. We'll talk to them again today of why we were successful in this game against her, and then why we were not successful in this game. A lot of it has to do with our chase, right? I think Schoonover is a senior, so she's pretty smart. So if you're going to get yourself out by not swinging at strikes, I, as a pitcher, am never going to throw you strikes. I mean, pretty simple equation. So I think if we force her to put the ball over the plate, I think, things obviously go in our favor.
Beyond the result on Tuesday night, what signs have you seen from your club that lead you to believe that last weekend might be more of a blip rather than just a long-standing?
I think the whole season leads me to believe that, to be honest with you, because we have bounced back, from our other hiccups, and we've not had many, but we've had, a few. And I think just kind of the veteran leadership in our program. We have Trin and Rylan, and we have a lot. I mean, even I would put Julia, Jazz Hill, even though they were transfers. I mean, they've played the game for a very long time. Kennedy, Coco, they're all juniors, so you're just starting to see some of that, hopefully, maturity take control. Shaylee has been solid for us, and we just need each individual part of our program to do their part. And that's what we've really talked about, is whether it be on bench and yelling if a runner's going, being ready. I call them our special teams unit. When they come in and they have to run and score us, big runs in some critical situations. So just kind of making sure that we're all taking care of our own individual areas, and that's going to help combine, for good things.
What kind of challenges do Kentucky staff present just with the differences in what they have?
Yeah, well, you got everybody throwing above 65, so that's, option one, door number one. I think, they're savvy. They're veterans. They've been around. Vickers, the same thing. She's also a senior. They have a freshman that's getting quite a few innings. Langdon, if I'm saying it correctly, and so she's has the ability to learn from two really, really good pitchers. And then the other kid, Lactana, she played for Italy, so she has international experience. She's also, I think, a junior. She might be a senior, but anyways, they're kind of they've been around the block, and so they don't freak out, they don't panic, those types of things. But either do we. Like that's kind of the response of, hey, this is what our game plan is for this pitcher, and if so-and-so comes in, this is our game plan, and stick to it. I think we run into issues when we start to abort the mission at hand, and we start to do other things. And so when you can calm your mind down, and that's why I was just talking to Shaylee, we were working on a pitch, and I had her close her eyes a little bit. And I said, hey, close your eyes and feel it. And really what it does is it settles your head, right, and kind of your thoughts. And so I think that's something that's going to be key for us this weekend.
With Kentucky maybe not being where they would want to be in the standings, and I don't think like you or the players like look at that, but just how do you make sure that you don't, you just go out there and make sure that you play your ball?
Well, hopefully last weekend taught us that. And I think if you look around the league, everybody's beating everybody. So that's kind of the nature of this conference. And so, you really have to just keep your head down and work. And really with them beating Alabama this last weekend, I think that's the other, piece of it. They have, some speed. They have a multitude of weapons that can hurt you. So it's not just, they have 2 kids that I feel like can maybe hurt you long ball wise. But other than that, they're kind of what I would say a punch and Judy team. They string things together. They make havoc on the bases, those types of things. So I think for me, every team in this league has a multitude of ways to kind of win ball games, and so you can't take that for granted. And I think we did last week, and this weekend, hopefully you kind of keep that, you kind of file that into your back pocket and use that as we kind of go forward.
So I don't know if I asked you this before, so are you, being a pitching coach, do you feel you can get every batter out, or do you go into a series where so-and-so's not going to beat us? Because you mentioned Koffel and Lorsong had some hits against you guys last year, and the history shows that they can beat you with one swing. So what is your philosophy on that?
Yeah, we'll go, like I met with the pitchers this morning. We go over our tape, our game film, and kind of our attack. So we do both ways. Obviously we'll have a game plan, especially against those 2, but then I will also say we're not letting them beat us. So it'll be a kind of a combination. Do I always think we can beat them? Yes. It's probably not one of my best characteristics, but if you're a true competitor, I feel like you figure out, like, I'm going to beat you. I don't care. Like, I'll figure it out. But yeah, I think those 2 are going to be definitely the 2 that we keep an eye on and make sure that we, we get beat another way. If we would just hit and score 8 runs, I keep telling Coach Harger this, we'd be okay.
Well,
last year didn't help us, the 8 runs.
Right.
Yeah.
You've touched on a few times about little things, but wasn't last week where you really needed a big thing because you didn't get the hits because, sometimes you got to get a big hit and sometimes,
yeah. We still didn't do some of the little things. Like we didn't execute bunts, steals. We didn't have pre-pitch knowledge. I could go on and on. That might have been one that we said, yeah, it's all right. Live and learn, right? 18 to 22-year-olds. Pray. Yeah.
How important have these last couple days of practice been? Again, you hadn't lost back-to-back games the whole year leading up to LSU, so I'm sure it felt like y'all got punched a little bit.
Yep.
So just what's been the team's response, and then what has really been the message and the focus these last couple of days of practice?
Yeah, it's just been about to regroup, evaluate what got us into this situation, and then how do you address it. And so trying to take the emotions out of it. We were all crispy on Monday still, I'll be honest with you, But I like that. Like I want that to hurt and sting and not be okay with that. And so, but you also have to talk about it, right? And that's what we did. Like, hey, like look at all these opportunities. Look at all this. We're not swinging at balls early in the count and letting them go. And then you're trying to, chase Berzon's best pitch in a 1-2, 0-2 count. Like that's not fun. Like you're not going to be successful. So, addressing them, talking about them, and then Tuesday obviously we played. And so yesterday was nice. We got to for however many hours just really concentrate on some of the areas that I feel like we needed to address, and we'll do that again today. So I think for me it's you got to learn from it, you got to talk about it, but then you also have to move on from it. There's nothing we can do about it, and accept get better from it. And you don't lose, you learn. And if you lose, then we have issues.
We saw some changes with PV. Is that something that was just kind of for them, or have some people made, like, will they be maybe getting into the lineup, getting out on the field?
Gotcha. Yeah, we just, you're talking about Prairie View, right? Yeah. We just have a lot of versatility, and so I wanted, it's been a while since we've made some defensive changes and shifts. I wanted to get Maya some more at-bats because I feel like she's coming along. So there was a lot of different reasons. To kind of get people comfortable. Rylan hadn't played third base in a while. Amari hadn't played second base in a while. And so just so we got some game reps with people in different spots. Kramer played center field. And it was just really for us to, look at next year, right? Like what could this look like? And then also as the season goes on, if we have to make any adjustments, we have at least had some in-game reps at different positions.